pretty much about the biggest size we do on this table, actually.
Yeah, you can tell the table is used pretty much completely. People keep asking us why we don't scrape the pot. Well, if you actually can see on the inside, there's not that much left. It is boiling hot sugar.
So water that's left from the dishes of the previous batch. Yes, thanks. And we let that boil for about 20 minutes. And then of course we completely rinse it afterwards.
So we're about to make a mango image, which means that we're gonna be using some green, yellow in the other corner, and some orange to represent the outside mango colors.
For the stem we will need brown. If anyone is up to date on mixing colors, can always reply in the comments how we will be able to make brown using yellow, orange and green.
So these are water-based colors. That's the reason why you see them boiling right after we poured the color on the hot sugar. And that color is actually at room temperature. So the water starts boiling and evaporating. That's the steam you see coming up. We're gonna be adding some citric acid to it. Very sour powder that will enhance the flavor, and it will actually give the sweet mango flavored sugar some tartness. It's only a little bit, but it will counterbalance the sweetness a little bit. And the other white powder is actually a white food coloring that will make sure that the white we're making later is nice, opaque. It's our outside view. People keep asking us if we don't mind people looking in and look how we or watch how we work. But actually it's always fun to see the people on the outside as well. We never get bored of that. So the liquid sugar has set enough, or has cooled down enough, so the edges are already quite firm and hard. You can see that this corner actually stays in place, and we can cut this with some scissors. And now you can see that the top layer, or the inside, is actually still liquid and will drip out. We use this technique to check the color richness, to check if the sugar doesn't have any lumps that could set in some crystallization or could start some crystallization going. And we also do it to cool down the liquid sugar a little bit faster. And it also looks great on camera, I have to admit that.
This is one of the most difficult parts.
Is to decide how much of each color you need. Okay.
And a bit of green, I think that'll do. Because in this case, we actually need a lot of white to pack the mango. But this will do. This will have to do.
This batch will yield about 10,000 little pieces of candy, something like that.
10,000 little mangoes. The little ones with all room. Right, back to the mangoes. So we need the whites to be just a bit cooler than the rest of the colors.
So you need to cool it down before you stretch it, right?
Yeah.
Then it goes to the hook, for the pulling machine.
This batch will go on the machine as it is a big one. Back in the old days, we used to stretch everything by hand, but then we cut pieces like this in half, and me and Ilse both stretched a piece on the hook. Now we have the pulling machine.
Definitely be faster, easier, and
Actually a better result as well.
better results. Okay. And healthier for your back and your arms.
All right, there we go.
Never try this at home, kids. If you happen to have a candy stretching machine at home, do not try to attempt this without any protection. It's
Trained professionals only.
yes, and it's not by coincidence that we call this machine or nickname this machine the Armbreaker 3000, because it in the wrong hands, it could be quite a pain in the buttocks.
There we go.
The white and fluffy, opaque, bigger in volume.
So pretty fluffy and colorful.
So on to the brown bit. As we mentioned before, we didn't mix any brown, but we need a little bit for the stem, the little stem that goes onto the mango. And by mixing some green and orange, we get a nice brown hue to this candy. Actually, it could be more a little bit more brownish. You can add always.
Most green.
Very difficult to get it back out of it. In the meanwhile, we have
Yeah.
the crowd watching along. Orange, yellow, and green. That will be the image of the candy. So Elke and Ilse are both taking care of one piece of a yellow. And meanwhile, Kim is preparing the stem that's already cooling down on the table behind him.
Stem is done. So next up, the wrapping of the.
So the skin of the fruit itself.
Yeah.
Yes. So that will be green, yellow, and orange.
Yeah.
That
That'll just be
resembles-
3 equal parts.
That resembles a ripe mango. Another fun fact is that mangoes are ridiculously high in vitamin A. Actually, is one of the most important sources of vitamin A for people who don't eat meat.
Okay.
So keep that in mind. A little side note to that is it's also the fruit that contains the highest amount of sugar. So,
This one definitely.
but with like all things and all good things or bad things, everything is supposed to moderation is the key. So here we have the orange, the pale orange core that will be used as a center, but we will not make it completely round. So we wrap the yellow around it in a crescent moon shape, but we will be changing the shape later on. So we have roughly equal parts of yellow, green, and orange that will make the outside. I'm just gonna take you over to the corner where Ilse is preparing pulling down the inside of the mango. So you can clearly see the orange that's off center. This will prove
Yellow on the yellow green. Right. It's a bit short.
very hard to exactly make the outside fit the inside completely. But since it's yellow on yellow, we won't notice the difference. See, right now is Ilse already started reshaping that round log of candy into a more oval or egg shape. That's very hard shape to maintain into shape, and she actually needs to cool it in that shape, and that's only possible in what we describe as the wiggly motion, and that all while Elke and Kim are preparing the other pieces. So
We're almost there.
Just
Just
the
need
stem.
the white to be divided in two.
the stem is already encased in 2 pieces of white. We have 2 big pieces of white that will go next to the finished mango. And then there's some orange, yellow and green left, and that will make up the outside, the visible outside of the candy. Kim, in between, just a little quick question for you. Do you happen to know what's the biggest mango producing country in the world? You have to think
I think
warm,
mangoes,
because mangoes
I'd say warm.
love warm countries.
Warm tropical countries.
Yeah,
Let's say
I'll help you out there. There's actually India is the biggest
India.
mango producing country in the world, and they actually consume a lot of mangoes because everyone knows the famous mango lassies and all the dishes they make with mango. But just by surprise, India is not the biggest mango exporting country in the world, because that would be Mexico. And more surprisingly, the biggest country that actually imports mangoes happens to be United States. So United States takes mostly all of their mangoes from Mexico. Well, actually, the one fun fact I was going to is that the second largest mango exporting country in the world happens to be the Netherlands, where we are located. So while we're not actually in the warmest country in the world by far,
I think mangoes are being used a lot in like juices and stuff.
it's a very versatile fruit, and we actually are one of the biggest.
I like mangoes, but I hate cutting them.
Everybody knows that you can peel or decore a mango with a pint glass. That's a little life hack for you there. It's free to use. So you can actually use the sides on the inside of a pint glass to get the giant pit out of a mango, free of risk of cutting yourself. Because besides avocados, mango is one of the fruits that actually is responsible for the most domestic injuries actually in the world. I know I will get some hatred for this, but I actually am a little fan of buying them already peeled, sliced and frozen. I know it's
Frozen.
it sounds it's like cursing in the church, I know, but it's but I
Mainly
like
for
to
smoothies.
I like to add, yes, I would like to add to that it's mostly for smoothies to use in blended drinks, or perhaps in a dish. So in the meantime, while having fun, Kim prepare the outside. So we have that Rastafari-inspired pattern that actually will make up the outside. But mango isn't the only one that Rastafari wasn't the only one that got inspired by the colors of mango. The shape of a mango actually inspired people to come up with the paisley pattern. Yes.
Stem on top.
So the little stem goes on top. It will be supported by the white.
Add like small pieces to difficult shapes. If you add white to that, you can stick it better. You have a lot more
room to play around with. So this mango gets sandwiched between two pieces of white, so it doesn't go anywhere. Can be shaped. Does it stick to itself right away, or do we?
using the sponge again.
So
Just a damp sponge with a bit of water on it.
So just some water and sugar. Yeah, of course that will stick.
Water and sugar are best friends in this case. And I think that'll be just a bit too big. Yeah. I'll forgive myself.
Actually, can see already start pinching that big roll.
We need everything to be equal sized. This is also a difficult part of the process because you usually a bit harder than the rest, so that's a bit difficulty on this, but this did work out well. It's a nice mango already. And after the stretching,
We just mentioned that we actually have some visitors in the shop from Germany. And here we have the final rods that are roughly 60 centimeters in length. And very hard to tell right now on the image, but it's image of life. The mango is brilliantly inside. So we have a little gift for our visitors, which is the offcut. The very first part we usually keep aside, but we're able to give it to you guys. So here you can see clearly that the outside colors actually change quite drastically from deep orange into a more faded color. That's because of the stretching. When you stretch it out, it gets thinner, and the colors is not that rich anymore. But that's the look that we want to create for our mango design. But that also shows the difficulty of mixing colors on the tail, because you're never really sure how they will turn out.
that is actually probably the most difficult part of making mango. Not with the easy colors, not with our standard colors like these ones, but if people require specific colors for their custom order to have it matched with, I don't know,
The invitation of their weddings or something like that. Yeah.
That's the most difficult part.
So these are actually pretty straightforward colors.
These are the easy colors. You just need to mix in enough or have the right amount. But when it comes to specific colors, we often need a combination of several of our standard colors, and it's one-off. If you miss, you miss, and you won't be able to adjust it. So that's the most difficult part.
Because we only have like a handful of colors. So when the end, which is actually a leftover, we can still make perfectly edible lollipops. So those are not going to waste. I'm gonna put those in the shop as well. So this little mango heart could be yours. Only available in the shop, of course. So final stage of our mango candy making is chopping it into little pieces, bite-sized pieces. And you can see already here the final design. I have some just in the center. You can see in the little stem on top of it, you can see the egg shape and the two-toned inside. So this is one part of the process that's very hard to do by machine. Every piece of candy actually goes through our hands.
As you just said, it's all done by hand.
Inside information to the people outside.
But you're looking funny when doing so.
So here we have the final result on our mango.
This is how it turned out. Hope you guys enjoyed and see you in the next video.